What's up, photography world? I'm Josh Regasso from the Shutter School, and today I have a creativity lesson for y'all. A lesson that came from the Sir Paul McCartney himself. All right, this is actually based on a crazy story I heard. My friend Ray Prop out of St. Louis shared this story with me, and it was so unbelievable and impressive that it's kind of stuck with me, and I've used it as a lesson for learning how to be creative ever since. So I'm going to kind of get into the backstory of this song that he wrote and what it teaches us about creativity and the lessons that I've taken from it. So the backstory is the song Yesterday. If you haven't heard it before, well, you youngins out there on YouTube who've never heard of the Beatles, get out there, check it out. Yesterday is a beautiful song. My dad was a big Beatles fan, played it for us growing up, loved the song. It's one of Paul McCartney's most famous songs. It is, according to the Guinness Book of World Records, the most recorded song of all time. Apparently 4,000 different versions from all sorts of artists of people have recorded it. It was one of the Beatles' biggest hits. Great song. Paul McCartney said it was his favorite song, or it would have been his favorite song if it wasn't so famous, but he did say it was the best song he ever written. He tried to sell it to, I guess, I might be wrong, but to other artists who were looking for songs. He was a songwriter, and they weren't interested. Luckily, he got to keep it and made one of their biggest hits. So, great song. All right, so what can we learn from Paul McCartney? What we can learn is how he came about writing that song. And this is the crazy kind of silly sounding story almost, can teach us a lot. So apparently, while he was sleeping, he had a dream of this melody. Da 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 da. And he woke up, had to get it out of his head because he knew this was the most beautiful melody ever. He had to get it out of his head. So he went down to the piano, started jamming out this melody. And it's not like he has tape, I don't know, maybe he didn't have a tape recorder or whatever. So he had to write a song that fit that melody, right? He just had to get it out of his head. And so the ditty that he wrote was Scrambled eggs. Oh, you've got such lovely legs. Crazy, silly song lyrics. It went from beautiful lyrics that eventually became in Yesterday. Started out as something as silly as scrambled eggs. Oh, you've got such lovely legs. All right, so you're going to tell me the greatest songwriter of all time wrote something so ridiculous. And yes, he did. Why? Because he had to get it out of his head. And so what this taught me was all brilliance, all great creative work start with a seed that could be a seed of crap, essentially. But I guess it can't be 100% crap or else it wouldn't go anywhere. But you just need to start with something, and then you can mold it. And it got me thinking, me and Ray got in this conversation when he shared the song with me about that creative process and how it can relate to photography, right? Many times when you see a beautiful image created, you know, you go to the Fearless Awards, you see all these beautiful images, that they might not have had that full picture in their head when they started as a photographer, but maybe they had a nugget of it and they just started with it and then they improved on it and then you kind of build it as you go. And so the lesson here is you could start with something like scrambled eggs just to get it out there. You know you want to do something with color. You're not good at working with gels and color, but you just want to get good at working with gels and color. So you throw a gel on your flash, you throw it on something, and you take the picture and you go from there. And what happens is once you make something, it's so much easier to improve on that something than to create something from scratch. Does that make sense? So to go from being maybe bad at something or a beginner of an idea or a nugget of an idea to a beautiful masterpiece, you've kind of got to go through that whole process. It's hard for people to create a masterpiece all at once, all from their head. Like, I mean, his Yesterday story is as close as it gets, I guess. He had this beautiful melody and it was ready to go from a dream. And so maybe occasionally in your career, you'll have this amazing picture idea right in your head, bam, and you make it, right? That's possible. But the more that you get out there and just make stuff and then mold that stuff, the more likely you're going to create great work, right? So just get out there and make something. Like, I know I just bought a drone. I've never done drone portraits before. I've seen some cool stuff. I don't have any ideas for great drone portraits, but if I just get out there with a couple and start playing with the drone, I'll figure it out. It's easier to edit and learn from your mistakes than to try to dream up the perfect image before you even start, right? And I know I want to get better at using like hard light, for instance. So I might not have a whole formula for an amazing hard light image, but if I say, you know what, I'm going to take my subject, my couple, my wife, whoever I want to shoot for practice, and I go to some place where there's hard light and just start making stuff. And then I'll see that hard light, and then that hard light on my subject will give me more ideas. And then maybe I'll notice, oh, when I do hard light at this angle, the background does this. And if I do this, the background does this. So I'm going to start working with that, right? And build, 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 build. So this story of the Beatles, greatest song, one of the greatest songs, how it started with something as simple as scrambled eggs, could teach you about being creative is make something improve that something, build. Just get stuff out. And you know what? There's days where I have no ideas, right? I don't know what to create. I don't know what to make. And I think on those days, what I can learn from Paul McCartney here is make something, find anything as your inspiration. So literally, I'm gonna drive 10 minutes, see what inspires me, and I'm gonna hop out of the car and just make something. And maybe it'll be crap, but maybe I pull up in an alley with the dumpster and I say, well, I have to make something out of a dumpster, and I'll learn something because I'm doing something I've never done before. And then that idea can maybe build a new piece, or maybe that I came up with something amazing. So if you haven't heard the song, apparently this was like a rumor for a long time, and then he explained it. Maybe it wasn't a rumor, I don't know. But when an interview with Jimmy Fallon, I guess they decided to sing it. So if you want to check out the Scrambled Egg remake from Jimmy Fallon, you can go on YouTube and check that out. I'll play just 2 seconds of it just so you can believe me, and then you can look for the rest because I don't want to be stealing his thunder or copyright, whatever.
Scrambled eggs. Oh my baby, how I love your legs. Not as much.
All right, so, and he keeps going, talking about different body parts and waffle fries and all sorts of stuff. It's a silly song, all right? But that's where he started. He went from something silly to something amazing. So I want all of you out there, my friends and photographers and creatives, artists, whatever's listening, go make something and then make it better. Just plant a seed. All right, and I guess what I'm going to do is I'm going to just whip out the drone in a park, and I'm going to find out what I can make with drones, because I haven't been using drones before. So that's going to be my nugget of creativity. Maybe it won't be anything. Maybe it'll be something great. You do the same, and I'll see you in the next video.